What's going on, guys? This is Tower number 9, and we are coming to you within a league game here. I am playing against Pepe here, who is playing Chewbacca with Echo Base. I am playing Luke Red, and we are gonna see what we can do here. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. This is a little different than some of the games that I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of league games with Sabine, but I decided, we've had a lot of Sabine content on the channel recently. I kind of want to switch things up, so we are playing some Luke Red today, and we're gonna see how this goes. So I'm going to start off by playing Sabine Explosives Artist. 2 cost 2/3. On attack, you may deal 1 damage to the defender or to a base. While there are at least 3 aspects among other friendly units, this unit can't be attacked unless she gains Sentinel. My opponent plays a Prepare for Takeoff. Search the top 8 cards of your deck for up to 2 vehicle units, reveal them, and draw them. Oh, and now I'm wondering if this is going to end up being. I am wondering if this is going to end up being the Chewie Goes to Space deck, where it focuses really heavily on playing to the space arena. I think there's a good chance that it is, and that will be interesting if so. We're gonna have to see how this goes. So my opponent searches up a Consortium Star Viper. This is a really annoying card against aggro. I'm not playing super aggro, so it might be fine. But that's one to be aware of, and a Bright Hope, which is a nice Space Sentinel. Okay, this is going to be interesting. We'll have to see how this goes. I will take the initiative, and yeah, luckily this Prepare for Takeoff doesn't actually develop the board. It does give some card advantage, but it's not doing much else. We seem to be. My 2 key is unfortunately a little busted here, so we'll look at these. So he's playing blue-green. We know he has counters in space. We're going to resource this wing leader because I know he has space units that will counter it easily. And instead, we're going to go for the Jedi lightsaber on Sabine, which will also get her out of range of a takedown. She could still be removed by Vanquish, but that's an expensive card that won't be available for another 2 turns. So Jedi Lightsaber on Sabine, +3/+3, attached to a non-vehicle unit. If attached unit is a force unit, gains on attack, give the defender -2/-2. Sabine is not a force unit, but that's okay. Consortium Star Viper hits the board, and Sabine hits for 6. Okay, so Sabine lands a big hit for 6 damage there, and then we're going to go ahead and draw on up. I have the Yoda here, which is would have been nice for the Jedi lightsaber. I think very possibly though, what I want to do this turn is actually play this takedown and clear my opponent's Star Viper. It's a really annoying card, and not something that I want to deal with. Conceivably, I could also play K2. Yoda's not gonna, I think, be as important in this matchup right now. Playing Yoda would allow me to do that forced throw, which would be nice. But yeah, right now we'll just have Sabine. Colonel Yularen played here, healing the opponent's base for 1. And looks like he's using the temporary sentinel ability there. So now let's see. I could do. So if Sabine kills Yularen, she becomes in range of some of this removal. We're gonna do the takedown on the Star Viper first. Then we'll have Sabine kill Yularen. Restored arc. Okay. Sabine, Yularen, and 1 to base. So now Sabine is in range of takedown, which is unfortunate, but it's not really something that can be easily avoided here. Um, and opponent will take the initiative. I will pass and draw 2. Okay, so we have a nice open fire and a Jedi lightsaber here. These are going to be some good buffs. We also have this force throw. I think under these circumstances, I'm thinking this is going to be a longer game, so I'm probably going to resource. I'm probably going to resource the open fire and plan to be going for the Jedi lightsaber on Luke and potentially getting Jedi Luke out as well. We'll have to see if this plan works out for me, but could be pretty good. Luke with the Jedi lightsaber actually kills Chewie in 1 hit, which is pretty nice. Okay, so we have a Sentinel there. This is fine. So Sabine can defeat that guy and 1 to base. This Jedi lightsaber is really paying dividends. The restored arc swings in and allows for some damage and healing. I'm going to play K2. So K2 here has a strong ability. We see another Consortium Star Viper hit the field. The question now is, would I rather shield K2 or would I rather take the initiative? I think under the circumstances, I think it makes more sense to take the initiative, which denies my opponent the healing from this Consortium Star Viper. While you have the initiative, this unit gains Restore 2. So we're going to draw 2. It looks like this isn't the Sabine goes to, or the Chewie goes to space deck, by the way. It looks like this is some kind of, I don't know exactly what I would call it, but it looks like it is, some kind of anti-aggro build, which sort of makes me wish that I did run Sabine into it to see if I could get through anyway. But so now we're gonna have Sabine deal 6 damage to base thanks to her Jedi lightsaber. Nice. My opponent plays 6 resources for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay, that's going to be actually very easily countered, I think, here. So then I'm going to do, um, yeah, so I can, man, I have a lot of options actually. But we're going to deploy Luke. The restored arc comes in, 2 damage to my base, heals that base for 1. I'm going to do a force throw and make him discard 1. Discards a Colonel Yularen here. Okay, so intentionally discarding in a way that makes it so that he will not have to take too much damage. But that's going to be 2 damage. So let's think about how we want to do this. I think what we'll do is 2 damage to Obi-Wan. Okay, so he's passing. So what he's probably trying to do is get the Consortium Star Viper into a position where it will be buffed by Obi-Wan once it leaves play. So Obi-Wan, when defeated, give 2 experience tokens to another friendly unit. If it's a Force unit, draw a card. Arguably, what I actually should have done here is done. I think I misplayed this. I think I should have done the 2 damage to the Consortium Star Viper and then used Tarkintown to clear it. I think that would have been a stronger way to play this turn. So what we're gonna do now, though, is Jedi lightsaber for Luke. Luke now a 7/10, so he could attack and defeat Obi-Wan. My opponent swings in for 3, which I'm fine with. Okay, so Luke could attack and defeat Obi-Wan and only take 2 damage, or I could use K2. If I use K2, I get to make him discard another card with K2 leaving play. I think it makes more sense, though, to have Luke be the one that clears Obi-Wan. He only takes 2 because the Jedi lightsaber has the damage reduction. My opponent's going to buff probably the Consortium Star Viper here. Yep, that's exactly right. My plan is to kill that with Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight in this oncoming turn. Um, Opponent takes initiative, and I'll have K2 just swing in for 4 more damage to base. I forgot to give my shield from the on-attack ability, so I asked my opponent if I can have it in a tournament. Like in a normal tournament, someone might be strict with that, and my opponent allows it. Some gentlemanly play there from Pepe. And we will go on to the next turn. So right now, I'm feeling pretty good in the, I'm feeling pretty good in the ground arena. My opponent can play Chewie, but Luke can immediately just attack and defeat Chewie in 1 hit, thanks to the Jedi lightsaber. So that's actually a huge problem for my opponent. And the question is what he's going to do to counter that. Takedown on Sabine, piercing her shield. Good play there. That's kind of what I was worried about earlier, but luckily we were able to get around it for a time. Um, I just realized I forgot to resource. It's gonna mess up my turn. Uh, okay, so he's gonna allow that also. No problem at all. So that's good. I definitely wanted to resource there. I forgot to. My opponent would have been within his rights to deny that because I had gained information. Thankfully he does. Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight kill the Star Viper. When played, give an enemy unit -3/-3 for this phase. If a friendly unit was defeated this phase, give that enemy unit -6/-6 for this phase instead. Um, okay, so then we see a Yoda hitting the field with Sentinel. So I'm gonna just have K2 attack and defeat Yoda. My opponent does get to draw a card. I'm manually setting the rotation value here because my 2 key is broken. I think my opponent drew 2 cards by mistake and then shuffled. So then Restored Arc comes in. I take 2. My opponent heals 1. I'm going to swing Luke at the base for 7. And then my opponent could deploy Chewie here, but Chewie's actually in a really bad spot. He could at least use Chewie to kill K2. That's like decent. But I'm going to just take the initiative here, and Luke will be able to deal with Chewie next turn. Okay, so he he uses Chewie to kill K2. I'm gonna do 3 to base. Oh, actually, you know what? I actually don't need to kill Chewie because I can just have Luke attack and destroy the enemy base. Oh, no, I can't. No, I can't. I do need to kill Chewie. He has Sentinel. Of course, Chewie has Sentinel. What am I thinking? Okay, so then my opponent could have a Vanquish, which could defeat Jedi Luke immediately. So we're actually going to clear Chewie with Jedi Luke here. I have to think about if I want to use any of this stuff. I think I don't. Yeah, I think I don't really care. Um, okay, so we'll have Jedi Luke attack and defeat Chewie. He takes 6. He heals my base for 3. Now the base is clear for Leader Luke to finish it off. He can do 7 damage, which is lethal here, and my opponent I don't think can interfere much unless he has like an Obi-Wan or something like that, some other Sentinel unit. Um, okay, she says GG, I can't heal fast enough, LOL, GG. Okay, so we were able to do it that game. Those Jedi lightsabers were really crucial for me. They provided a lot of value both on Sabine, who was able to, kill 2 enemy units while still dealing damage to the base with her on attack ability, and then it took the opponent a takedown later to actually deal with her. And then later on Luke, making it so that Luke could defeat Chewie in one hit, forcing Chewie to play much less aggressively or whatever than normal. Ultimately very successful. So looking at my sideboard here, we're going to bring in another copy of Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight. Because this seems like it's kind of a long game. So we have that, and then I feel like I don't feel like I need the Redemption Medical Frigates here, which I do have in sideboard. I could play Vanquish, but I don't know that that's necessary. And the Disabling Fang Fighters, we didn't really see upgrades from my opponent, so it's just going to be the Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight. And then I'm thinking about what to cut. I think I might cut a Restored Arc here because it seems like my opponent has some space counters there for the Restored Arc. And so we're going to move into round 2. Minor change to the deck, but it's going to give me another Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, who's a really strong option. This looks like a pretty good opening hand. So this Spec Force Soldier is actually really good in this matchup because it can deny Sentinel at a crucial time. In fact, yeah, this is a very good hand. Kind of makes me sad even because it's so good that I don't know what I want to resource. Okay, so let's think this through. So one thing my opponent could have is if we start off with a Battlefield Marine, it would be awkward for my Sabine, but I don't think I can really avoid that. I think the play is Sabine, and then I guess we resource the Open Fire. The Spec Force Soldier is really good later, but I don't think it's something I'm going to want to play early, and I want to keep Luke because he's so impactful. So we're going to resource like that and see if that's wrong. I have obvious plays with Sabine, Yoda, Jedi Lightsaber. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so unfortunately, it is going to be 2 for Battlefield Marine. That's one of the less exciting things to start with. I am still going to bring out Sabine though, because I have Tarkin Town. If my opponent just uses the Battlefield Marine to defeat Sabine, I can Tarkin Town him off the board, which is going to put us in a more even board state. We also see I have red 3 here, so red 3 probably ends up getting resource. Well, let's see here. So I'm gonna want to do. I want to do either Yoda. No, red 3 is actually more aggressive than playing Yoda, so we do want the Jedi lightsaber though. It's a little complicated here. I think we'll resource this fleet lieutenant for now, and my opponent has the first action, and yeah, I'm gonna take the kill there. Very straightforward play. I am going to. I think I do deploy Yoda here. I could do red 3, which is a little more aggressive, but I realized that Yoda can actually get this kill without me having to use Tarkentown, while still remaining alive, which would be, I think, more favorable for my position. Ooh, we see an Admiral Akbar dealing 2 damage to Yoda. A little interesting. I don't know that I guess this sets it up so that now, yeah, so this sets it up so that now if Yoda fights there, he dies. So what we'll do is I could take the initiative in Jedi lightsaber Yoda, but then I'm really at risk of getting blown out by a I'm really at risk of getting blown out by a what's it called? Takedown. So we're going to play it safe. I'm just going to use Tarkentown. We're going to plan on Yoda maybe dying. If he dies, he gives me another card, and we're going to be kind of making resource plans towards the late game. Nice. So I have another Luke Skywalker. I'm actually going to keep both of these. So my plan here is going to be to go for red 3 and Luke's ability to give him a shield. That's currently my plan. And yeah, red 3 could himself just get killed by takedown, but you know, my opponent plays a Yoda of his own. Okay, so one thing that I could do, a Sentinel Yoda of his own, in fact. Okay, so now he can't play takedown, so I could do Jedi lightsaber on my Yoda. I think that's not as much of a good late game plan though, so we're gonna go red 3. I can shield my red 3. Shield doesn't help me if he just plays a takedown on it, but it's basically free. Okay, so he hits my Yoda with his Akbar. I could have my Yoda hit his Yoda for 3. No, we're gonna shield red 3. Okay, so he takes the initiative. His healing stuff isn't on right now because I'm not actually attacking his base, which is kind of a funny situation. Ooh, okay, so I think we have to resource one of the 2 Jedi Lukes, even though I really like them here, because these other cards are very relevant in this situation. So if he plays a takedown, I think there's a high chance that he'll just do a quick takedown on my red 3. If that's the case, I can then force throw him. Um, No, he's gonna go there. Okay, so that's a trade, and then with Yoda's ability, I get to draw a card. Okay, another Jedi lightsaber. Okay, so I probably should have resourced the Jedi lightsaber. Let's see here. So if I attack, it enables Yoda's healing. So what I'm going to do is deploy K or play K2. I can start attacking his hand here if I want also. So like K2's ability, when defeated for each opponent, choose one, either deal 3 damage to that player's base or that player discards a card from hand. Um, so I can start attacking his hand instead of his life total since he has that restore like on the field here, and it's really annoying. But if I focus on instead attacking cards in hand with my force throw K2 that way, I can maybe get into a situation where I have a dominant late game. Okay, a Colonel Yularian, which would heal him but doesn't do anything. I'm going to use Luke's ability to shield K2. So I'm kind of slow playing that. He plays an Akbar and removes the shield from K2. Okay. So in this situation, I think so. One thing that I could do is just take the initiative. Another thing that I could do is swing in for 3. So if I swing for 3 with my red 3, he probably hits me for 2 and heals. Um, he's gonna hit me either way, probably. Yeah. So we're gonna go for red 3 to the base for 3. He's probably gonna swing with Yoda and heal. No, he actually takes the initiative here. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I will draw up. This is going to be a turn where I get to deploy Luke. I have some nice buffs for Luke. Actually, I have really nice buffs for Luke. I think I resource. Well, the multiple Jedi lightsabers is actually tempting, but I think I'm going to resource one of those here. Um, And we'll see what my opponent does. There's a good chance it's just some kind of killing type effect, I think. We'll see what happens here. No? Echo-based defender. Heals one, okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm sort of wondering what the end game is here. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to bring out a wing leader and buff my K2, which will allow him to push through the echo-based defender and still do some damage to the opposing base, I think. Yeah, so wing leader, buff K2. Good old wing leader. When played, give 2 experience tokens to another friendly rebel unit. Yoda hits my base for 2, heals my opponent's base for 2. K2 is going to swing at the defender, so that's going to be 7 damage, so 4 overwhelm. And he himself takes 4. Okay. My opponent trades Yularen for K2. Or wait, maybe he doesn't. So wait, I'm a little confused. Okay, trading there. Uh, I will make him discard a card with K2 when defeated. I will select the discard a card option. I'd rather do that than the 3 damage to base since my opponent has ample healing, and my current plan is to take control of the board rather than trying to just do aggro pushing. Nice, and I get a redemption medical frigate. That is so valuable. Um, I am very happy to see that card go. So then it's my turn. We're gonna just have red 3 hit the base there. Akbar hits my base for 1, heals there for 1. I will deploy Luke. Opponent takes the initiative. I'm going to force throw him to get rid of his other card from hand because the last one was really expensive. Ooh, I got a takedown. Okay, so with a takedown, I'm going to use the takedown to defeat, I think I want to get Yoda here. That does give my opponent a card draw, which is awkward, but it can't be helped, and Yoda heals him for more. Then I'm going to have Luke hit the base for 4 and shield the wing leader. Or for 5, yeah, actually my opponent remembered that time and I didn't. With red 3, Luke gets raid 1, and then we're going to move on to the next turn, and I'm feeling like I'm in a very good spot at this phase. So we're going to resource this extra red 3. This turn I can either do unit type plays or I can do like smaller plays or go for Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight. But because my opponent can deploy Chewie this turn, I'm probably going to go for Jedi Lightsaber. Let's think about that. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for Jedi Lightsaber on Luke to defeat Chewie. We'll see what my opponent plays out, though. Could easily change things. Looks like 5 resources for a wedge. Okay. So Wedge Antilles hits the field. Each friendly vehicle unit gets +1/+1 and ambush. That is exhausted. Okay, I'm totally fine with that. What we're going to do is Jedi Lightsaber on Luke. Nice. So my opponent has an ambushing restored arc thanks to Wedge. Knocks the shield off of my red 3. And the restored arc will take 2 damage. So this and restore 1. So each friendly vehicle unit gets +1/+1 and gains ambush. Unfortunately for my opponent, though, I'm going to be able to clear that with my wing leader attacking the restored arc, losing its shield and destroying it. My opponent has 2 resources, could deploy Chewie, but if he deploys Chewie, Luke can defeat Chewie in 1 hit. Akbar hits my base for 1. I am going to Yeah, so I think what I do here is I have Luke. Yeah, I'm gonna have Luke clear Wedge. Or no, I want to slow roll him. So what we're going to do is first we're going to have uh, Fleet Lieutenant Red 3 into the base for 5. And then if my opponent deploys Chewie, Luke can defeat Chewie. If my opponent passes, well, we'll see what happens. If he deploys Chewie, I just swing with Luke and defeat Chewie, which is, kind of nasty, but otherwise Luke gets to hit the base. Okay, so he does deploy Chewie. Or no, he's bulking. Luke does just defeat Chewie in one hit here because he has so he has 7 damage plus if attached unit's a force unit, defender gets -2/-2, so he passes. So then I think I could clear Wedge, but I think I actually just want to push damage to the base. That's 7 damage to the base. So we're now actually getting into, or it's 8 damage to the base. So now my opponent deploys Chewie. And now I am going to take the initiative. So Chewie's best move here is probably to attack into either Luke or the Fleet Lieutenant to at least get something. Yeah, so he does 2 damage to the Fleet Lieutenant and he gets his or he could attack Luke. Okay, so he does 2 damage to the Fleet Lieutenant and that does deal 3 damage back to him, but that means he has grit now, so he's a little buffed up. So he's got 6 HP left. One thing that I could do is actually go for the Luke Skywalker kill on Chewie. I'm going to draw these cards. These are reasonable cards. I think I don't resource here. Okay, so I'm going to lead off. Chewie is a Sentinel. I will have Luke defeat Chewie. Luke takes 3. So he's given Chewie -2/-2, and then takes 3 damage in return. And my opponent plays ooh, nice, an ambushed Consortium Star Viper, thanks to Wedge. This is rare footage of Wedge actually getting substantial value. Usually it doesn't really do anything. Um, I will go ahead and have my Fleet Lieutenant hit the base for 3 before Wedge can clear him. Oh, that's a misplay. I should have actually played Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight and killed Wedge. Oh well. I think I'm still in a pretty favorable position. Akbar kills the Fleet Lieutenant, heals my opponent's base for 1. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, Akbar clears the Fleet Lieutenant, hits my opponent's base for 1. Now we'll do Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight defeat Wedge, and it looks like we're in a pretty winning position. The opponent takes the initiative. I'm going to go ahead and trade these there. I could have done damage to the base instead, but I like my opponent not having that option. And now I have 2 really powerful units. My opponent's board is cleared. We will see how it goes, but I think I have this. I'm going to actually at this point I will resource so that I can potentially play 2 4 costs this turn. I think I may have forgotten Luke's shield again, but it doesn't really matter. So my opponent plays Obi-Wan. Yeah, that's it. GG. So yeah, Obi-Wan here, I could just clear him with Luke and then have other Luke attack and destroy the base. So ultimately, red Luke was able to handle this anti-aggro Chewie deck. It went very well for me. The Jedi lightsaber was a critical card in this matchup. So this Jedi lightsaber giving the defender -2/-2 really makes Chewie's 2/9 stat line that relies on grit really difficult. My opponent says, yeah, this was already the hardest matchup for Chewie. After they spoiled Force Throw, it's simply impossible. Yeah, the Force throws were really good too. I had a substantial card advantage. The Jedi lightsabers, it was really a tough one for my opponent. Ultimately, able to get the win here. My opponent was running an anti-aggro build. I don't think it was necessarily to counterpick me. I was actually considering just running Sabine into it, which would have been interesting. But I wanted to get some more varied footage for the channel, so we are going to, yeah, say that one's good for Luke. Victory for Luke Red, which I am hoping. I'll just give you guys a sneak preview with some of the new cards that have been previewed. There were a huge number of card spoilers today. I might actually do another video where I just talk about that. But make an opening make an opening here, I'm hoping is another piece of the puzzle for helping deal with aggro. So this is 3 cost, giving it -2/-2 for this phase and heal 2 damage for your from your base. So I personally think this card's pretty cool, and I've slotted it in as a potential anti-aggro card, and trying to shore that matchup up more can also just do some healing in good situations, set up good trades, and get things going. But what I like about this, one thing I like about this sort of build here is cards like K2 actually offer some really nice options. So K2 here, because I'm able to choose from damage to the base or forcing the discard, I can either play for trying to close the game quickly, or I can play for long-term advantage, using him either for card advantage or for just straight damage to base. So good old K2 there, pretty effective. Okay. Pepe says, in the deck like the one you're playing, probably it's behind a lot of other more insane cards, but in other decks with less stuff, it might be solid. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think it might be good in double blue. Um, but yeah, I'm hoping it helps versus aggro, the make an opening. All right. Well, hey, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thanks to y'all for watching. That was a League Best of 3 between Aggression Luke and Command Chewie Anti-Aggro is what I'm going to call that build. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Ultimately, Aggression Luke was able to get it. Aggression Luke, despite the name, it does have the aggression aspect, but it is not an aggro deck. Aggression Luke is a mid-range deck, and in this case, against a so normally control is actually good against mid-range, but in this case, I think the control is very teched towards opposing early aggro units and healing from early aggro and sustaining through the aggression of like a Sabine or a Leia, and it wasn't as effective against Luke. Okay, well, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thanks to you all for watching, and we will be back later with some more Star Wars Unlimited content. I will have a link to my Aggression Luke deck list in the video description below. I will catch you guys later.